Hi guys, welcome back. So Scotland have done it. They did have that big performance in their locker. I was wondering in the preview show, my head said France, my heart said Scotland. I thought they might have a big performance in them. But wow, what a game, 28-17. No bonus points for either team and no losing bonus point for France. And it blows the whole championship wide open. Who knows when this championship will finish, but we definitely don't know the winner. What we do know is there is no Grand Slam for anybody. Anyway, let's have a look at this game. I mean, first of all, Scotland deserved to win. Very slick, very committed. And France certainly had a hand in their demise as well. That red card, an absolute killer. Shades of the Rugby World Cup. That was the old France's problem. They just couldn't keep their heads. It was only one person, but that one person lost them the Grand Slam, or the chance of the Grand Slam. Maybe Scotland would have won anyway, but they certainly lost it. Anyway, it was a decent start for France. They get a penalty, and you know, the first hint that things were going to go wrong, Intermac with a really bad strike, bad miss. Should have been a straightforward 3 points, really. Then it gets a little bit worse. They get a yellow card for Cross. A silly little lift. It wasn't too bad, but when you chuck the legs above the horizontal and the head hits the ground first in a tackle, you're asking for trouble. So he goes off for 10 minutes, and then another error. So 3 big errors in a row. Intermac knocks on. He then goes off because he gets hit in the head because he was in the situation from the knock-on, so it was self-imposed, and just things are starting to go wrong. Anyway, Scotland's scrum, which has been one of their strong points, continues to look good, and they get a penalty from that, 3-0. France definitely look vulnerable, and it was the prop that got sent off. I wonder if he was getting frustrated from the scrum potentially. Anyway, Scotland's forwards were working tirelessly, and Watson and Ritchie, who I said in the selection video have been their best players, were fantastic, working really hard on the floor, getting lots of valuable turnovers, plus good go forward in wide channels as well as tight channels. Anyway, France were looking to mix it up, attack quite tight offload, which is what they're quite good at, but Scotland scrambled fairly well. I mean, they weren't smashing them back as such, but they were making their tackles, and then when they needed to, making the turnover. Now, what I liked about this game was Scotland were intent, they were exciting, but they weren't silly, they were sensible. Sure, they counter-attacked when it was on, they put it through the hands when it was on, but they definitely didn't force it. So that is a real big positive for Scotland. It's the mix that they wanted. But then we get a French try, a really good attack from France. They'll keep going through the phases, and Dupont spots a cross-field kick that's on, probably gets communication from Pinot, executes it perfectly, gets the try, and France actually go into the lead after a decent start for Scotland. So France are thinking, okay, we're getting into this game. But then on 35 minutes, another big error for France. It's a sloppy ruck to start with from France. They did make a few too many silly errors. The ball squirts out, the Scots go on the attack, and then in the scuffle, there we go, Howard punches, I think it was Ritchie or Haining, one of those two to the face. Just ridiculous, absolutely no need. You're going to get caught on camera, it's a red, and in that moment, the Grand Slam is probably lost. To play a whole half against a decent team like Scotland and try and win it is just hard. And you did see faces sink, French belief just started to waver there, because it was the shades of the Vahemina incident in the Rugby World Cup, and Scotland go ahead at that point from the penalty, of course, 9-7. And then straight away, the 1-2 punch after that big problem for France. Then they concede a try, and what a great try it was. Johnson eventually feeding Maitland on the right, but it was Hastings showing the ball, creating the space, going through, and Scotland's handling was crisp. They didn't in this game made the mistakes that they had made in previous games, which is a big plus. It was 14-7 then, and France are just beginning to waver. They think maybe it's all gone. And then just 4 minutes later, an equally good try, Hogg initiates, I think, the counter-attack. Harris carries it on with Price, and then eventually, again, lovely slick handling into the corner. Maitland goes again, and it just looks like it's almost game over. Versus 14, to me, I thought, right, this is it. And indeed, as the camera panned to the French players, on their faces, you could just see them go pale. We have blown this. This is gone, the Grand Slam. Because Scotland were playing solidly, France still had good phases, but the kicking was good from Scotland. The scrummaging was excellent, the skills were sharp, and whenever France made good inroads, like I said, the likes of Watson and Ritchie were making those key turnovers, or France making mistakes. France pulled it back to 21-10 with a penalty, and then just the final nail in the coffin. France actually steal a line out, but it bounces around because no one's directly behind the line out, and McInally actually regathers it and scores 28-10, and it's just all over, and the game essentially there is just null and void, really. Ollivon does get a good try at the end, but it's pure consolation. They can't get within 7 for the bonus point. Scotland will be delighted with that win. Well done to them. I don't think they're going to win the championship. Mathematically, maybe they could, I guess. I don't know. But still, they're going to be absolutely delighted. France have thrown this dream away, mainly with that red, but they weren't as sharp, they weren't as fired up. Scotland were right on it today, so congratulations to them. Let me know what you think of that game, guys. And I'm going to be back with another video looking at the permutations now. Who is likely to win the Six Nations and what do they need to do it? Anyway, guys, until next time, I will see you then.